this is part 2 of my 3-part series regarding peri-workout nutrition. This one, part 2, is going to be on intra-workout nutrition. This will probably be the shortest video. So let's just dive right on in. Intra-workout nutrition is designed to fuel performance and recovery. It's to allow you to train harder and then recover from that training, right? Let's build the most muscle possible. And that's really our concern here. That's the whole point of it. Not everybody needs intra-workout though. Actually, I would say that a lot of people don't. Who needs intra-workout then? I would say that the more advanced you get, the harder you're training, the more you're pushing, the more important it becomes and the more beneficial it can become. A lot of times I do include this though, for a lot of people, because it's an easy way to get some calories in. Not only that, but it's an easy way to get calories in. They're going to be immediately used by the body for performance and recovery, which is typically most people are wanting to put on muscle of some sort. To some degree, that is, not to some sort. So, what do I put in an intra-workout nutrition, an intra-workout drink? Really, that's what it is, it's a drink. We want it to be a drink, and we want the carbs to be liquid, because when you're training, your body, you get put into a sympathetic state, so fight or flight response at some point, and you are less parasympathetic, so you aren't digesting as well. So we don't want to eat food, right? Like, I don't like to give things like bananas or Rice Krispie treats or gummy bears. Those things will work to an extent, but also they're really going to sit on the gut. Whereas if we're drinking something, we can utilize all of those sugars immediately, right? And they're going to be immediately absorbed, and there's really no digestion process that's taking place. So carbs, I like to do a carb powder, or like a simple carb, like a highly branched cyclic dextrin, dextrose, something like that. Or also somebody can do Powerade or Gatorade. As long as it has the number of carbs that we're shooting for, I don't really care what source they use. It's just going to be kind of along those lines, right? It can be mixed into a shake. It's liquid. Oh, excuse me. So for most people, I do 20 to 30 grams of sugar, of carbs in that meal. And however, some athletes do require more. It just depends. There's a lot of factors that it depends upon. It depends on how large they are, how much muscle mass they're carrying, what level of competitor are they really, and then how much can they handle? Are they using insulin? Are they not using insulin? Right? That's a whole different topic. But for most people, 20 to 30 grams of carbs intra-workout is more than enough. Actually, I would say probably 90% of my clients have 14 ounces of Gatorade or 25 grams of carbs coming from highly branched cyclic dextrin, dextrose, carbolin, one of those things. And then let's talk. So the second thing that I add is salt. Why do we add salt? Well, when we sweat, we actually excrete a lot of our salt. And for muscle contractions to take place, we need a good electrolyte balance. And when that electrolyte balance is off is when we actually cramp. So the muscle cells have something called a sodium-potassium pump. And when you have plenty of salt, the contractions are much better. You're much better. You're being better hydrated. Those electrolyte balances can stay better, and they don't get as depleted. And so I like to add about 3 grams of salt for most people. I found that seems to be a very good place to be regarding training, really, and hydration, right? So the next thing I do add creatine to my intra-workout. This can really be added any time of day, and there's no real added benefit of me adding it into the intra-workout. To me, it's just the most convenient place to add it. And creatine is one of those things that you just need to get it in every day. And because once those levels are saturated, right, That's kind of just where you want to keep your creatine levels at, right? You just want to keep your body at saturation. And so I just do 5 grams of creatine intra-workout. It's the easiest place to drink it versus having to do it in the morning or at night or whatever the case is, right? Like I'm already having a mixed drink with this kind of stuff in it. I'm going to have it here, right? I have had coaches in the past where they wanted me to drink BCAAs while doing fasted cardio, and then I would throw the creatine in with that. That's perfectly fine as well. But in my instance, in my case, for most of my clients, it's 5 grams of creatine as intra-workout. The next one is something that is optional for a lot of people, especially if they're deep in the off season and food is really high, or they're just a lifestyle client. It's not something that I put it in there, but I'm not like, hey, this is a must have, like we have to have this. So that'll be EAAs. I like my clients to have EAAs because the truth of the matter is there's a lot of argument as to whether they work or whether they don't work. But when we're talking about potentially being 1% better, right, I would rather stack all of the odds in my favor regarding that. So the only time that I really require my athletes to have this is during prep when their calories are low. This is when I want you to have those EAAs. This is when it's more necessary for those EAAs because the body can use them one way or the other. Is it going to make a drastic difference? Probably not, but 1% better is 1% better, and that difference could show up on stage. And we'll never know if we didn't do it either way, right? So I would rather do it than not do it. So those are the things that I kind of add in my intra-workout shake. It's just 20 to 30 grams of carbs, salt, creatine, and then EAAs. For me personally, when I get into the off season, I might not add EAAs. Sometimes I might add my pre-workout to it. If it's a leg day, I'm not adding anything else to it because when I go to train, that additional artificial flavoring makes me very nauseous and I will end up throwing it up. So I don't like the additional flavorings. So that's me. Those are my preferences. That's how I do things. Every coach is different and everybody's different, and that's all right. Even with my clients, sometimes this varies a little bit, dependent upon the client, right? So when do we start drinking this? So for me personally, I start to sip on this on my way to the gym, and then I like to have it done by my first or second exercise. The reason for that is because the artificial flavoring does make me nauseous and it sits kind of heavy on my stomach, especially because I train in a hot gym, that I'm going to end up getting nauseous and I might even throw up, especially if it's leg day, potentially if it's back day as well. Like I could end up throwing up. And that's the last thing that I want to do. I don't want to do that at all. We want to avoid that. So for most of my clients, I suggest starting to sip on it and then having it done before you're halfway done with training, essentially. For prep, I think that it's beneficial to have that done about halfway through so that by the time we're doing cardio, you're not really still utilizing those sugars as energy, and we can focus more on the necessities, right? So that's my intra-workout approach to things. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot. I'm open for discussion as always.